Anything you can do, I can do better than you. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I just saw the new She-Hulk trailer from Comic Con. And boy, howdy, do I have a lot of mixed feelings about that. One, the CG looks better. Two, I'm getting really sick of the new MCU uh, sexism going on because I really am tired of that. Because again, we're handing comic book characters, superheroes, basically, we're cutting their workload in half. Is basically for the girls apparently, because it's like, yeah, sure, we're changing it up, so now you go back and forth, under certain situations, which is needless, might I add. We're not making you the sex symbol you were in the '90s comics or cartoon series. You're still pretty though, but not that sexy. You're kind of maybe sort of sexy, and her Jennifer Walters form is not cute or sexy at all. But they chose that actress anyway. For what reasons? I don't know. Maybe she's a good actress. I don't know. I'll see the series, see if it actually works out. I don't know. One thing I do know is that her having the training montage with her cousin and have her like beat everything that he can do fairly well is like, oh look, I'm just breezing through this. It's like no wonder he pushes her off the damn cliff. It's like the writers are just giving her this like uh, the power balance is like, oh, the powers aren't that hard. It's like, um, what is the struggle then? Oh, it's the emotions, and I'm like, you're putting in too much real world stuff into your fantasy, by the way. Or lest we forget the, like I said before, the outrage at the Rise of the Shield Hero and Goblin Slayer, because heaven forbid you put too much realism into your fantasy. Uh, you know, and it's just I really am tired of the female superhero demographic being given a bit of a cheat. I mean, they did that with Miss Marvel, where it's like, I do parkour now with no real training. I have total control of my powers, which I barely had at the end of the meager training I did for all of one afternoon. So you see the whole thing. You can't you know uh, uh, speed run your training. I'm sorry, training is still training. You still have to train to do things. I know that they're trying to do it for She-Hulk, but they're just saying, and your physicality is fine. It's your emotional state you gotta hang on to because you're a woman. Get it? I don't like that. I honestly don't like that. I find that very demeaning towards women. You know. Yes, I know they have emotional issues that are for their gender alone. We have ours. Trust me, we do to certain degrees. Not as hard as them, of course, I think that's horrifically mean by nature to do, but that aside, bringing that into your storyline as a plot point or MacGuffins or what the fuck ever you call it is just needless. Much like, Miss Marvel, you know, going on about her, the whole story revolving about the backstory of her family. And it's like, um, I'm sorry, what? It doesn't need to do that. Of course, they're breaking away from the '90s or the beginning sex symbol she was into the not even being that athletic about it into the whatever this is now thing. So she was a sex symbol, then she was the athlete, but still had a personality to herself. When she did those bit parts in the later Marvel cartoon shows, okay, she still had a personality that was kind of more domineering, but okay, I could understand that. So she's no longer the fun sex symbol she was. Okay, she's the athlete. Okay, I get that. With a dominant personality. Okay, fine. And now she's just, let's say this, realistic Hollywood women. Not realistic as in real life, what is perceived to be real life, which isn't real at all. So she's an emotional wreck who has to control her powers. Not say her powers, but her change back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And so everything else in the trailer I liked. Her having to juggle being a superhero and a lawyer. Yes, okay, it's problematic. Every superhero has to do that. But having her change constantly back and forth between Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk is rather, again, needless. And it just seems like they're just adding it in for more emotional punch. Higher highs, lower lows, sort of a thing. You know, where it's like, oh, I'm just trying to be me, Jennifer Walters, and it's like, no, it's called She-Hulk for a reason, not Jennifer Walters' story. And it's like, again, they're trying to add her more personality quirks, which is she's just more. Again, I'm trying to find where the balance is put for the confidence. Where's this endless confidence she had in herself back in the early 90s? I liked that about her. She was a confident, well, lack of a better term, sex goddess. So every man was literally just, she had him in the palm of her hand. Like every guy was just like, okay, like he would just let her lead. If she wanted to lead, she led. It's like, no, no, you lead, you lead. I'm perfectly fine following you. I'm no qualms here, no qualms. So having that being gone into whatever minor scene that has her be the sexually competent, confident She-Hulk. Sorry, I had a beer earlier, hence the mispronunciation. Uh, is rather annoying because they're adding in all this other stuff, which can work if you're doing it right in the right amounts. But I don't think they are. I don't think yet until I see the series. And it just gets annoying with like half I sees just again with this. And we can see the writing where it's like production notes. Oh no, she's good at this. Don't need to worry about that. But this over here, that's what we're focusing on. The emotional stability. Why? We're adding that in as a point of, again, highs and lows. She has to deal with this highs and lows and try to find a balance. Okay, but she's not a sex symbol. Alright, fine. Oh, but she's has sexual moments. Again, it's all over the place. This is how they write her. It's kind of more all over the place. Her training, again, feels needless, but not for the mentality, that course that they gave her to try to understand. More of an emotional, psychological journey than it is an actual story journey. Ugh, I know they're trying to find a new aspect for her, and realism, sympathy, understanding, all that fun modern storytellingness. And it just feels needless, honestly. It just feels needless. Like, it just can't tell a She-Hulk story. But it has to be a modern, woke story. And I'm just like, cringe! Ugh. And it just makes me not feel very optimistic about wanting to watch this series. But I'll give it a fair shake, and I will try my darndest to be open-minded. Hopefully, this character will not be completely ruined like they did for Kamala Khan. Hey, I got it right that time. Uh, so I'm hoping that once I see it, the series completed with all of its, graphic layers, finally, that, you know, it will be a good series that I will like, or like good enough. I hope. So anyway, yeah, that's about it. Oh, I saw the Wakanda Forever trailer. I love that one too. Of course, they're adding in the Atlantis people. I think it's okay. You're adding in another thing. So the new couple of shows are adding in a lot of crossover material, which I like. It's okay. That's good. I just hope they bother to explain why that particular character is not in the series anymore. Uh, you know, not that there's anything against, having the Queen Leader, you know, step up to lead in the absence of, our prior lead. It's just I hope they explain it well, and believable and nice enough to say, okay, we as the audience accept that. Moving on. If they just like hand wave it away or give it some throwaway line, it just doesn't feel very genuine at all. It feels very disingenuine, and it feels like more corporate politics, which we're hoping is not in there. Doesn't look like it. The women look strong. I like the fighting style. I like the stance. Um, so I have better reservations for Wakanda Forever than I do for She-Hulk. Uh, I'm rather curious where the Atlanteans is, that plot point going, like where it's coming from and where it's going. That'd be rather interesting. So, okay. I guess with that being said, I will bid you adieu, and as always, see you at the movies. Bye.